Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. Marquita here with Late Nights Early Mornings, and I am doing another plant addition video. So that means that yes, I have been buying more plants. Do I need more plants? No. But am I still going to buy more plants? Yes. So you're probably going to see me reaching down because I do have them sitting right beside me in a bin because I will be transplanting some of them soon. I did order some more self-watering planters from Amazon. Of course, my air will kick on right when I start this video. So I'm going to try and talk a little bit louder so it doesn't get drowned out. But I ended up going to Lowe's for one thing, and that was just to get another small self-watering planter from the Allen and Wick collection, like the blue one that I showed you guys in the last video from Lowe's that I used for one of the plants. I just went back to get one more of those because I had an idea of how I want to arrange the plants. And then I decided, hey, let me take a peek at the houseplant section again to see if they had anything new or if they still had some plants that I had kind of considered but didn't buy on the first trip. And they actually had gotten in quite a few more. Like their section was pretty stocked, and so I started looking through there, and then I also checked out, of course, the clearance plants as well. So I ended up picking up a couple of things, and another thing that happened is they have gotten in their herbs and vegetables and things have started to come in. So I did take a look at that. That was another reason I did go out there, was to see if those had come in. And so yes, they had. And one thing I have noticed already is that they seem to be a little bit higher priced than they were in the past years for the same size. I believe I would have to double check, but I feel like I usually get the relatively small because they're usually like two different sizes of like the kind of starter vegetables and herbs and things. And I feel like I didn't get like the larger of the two, and it still is about $6 a container. And I feel like they used to be more like $3 to $4 a container, but they're like $5.70 something, roughly for most of them that I saw. So I felt like there must be an increase in those things as well. So like everything else, it looks like our plants and vegetables and herbs will be impacted by inflation as well. So if you are in the market for some plants or herbs or something for your garden, you might be a little bit sticker shocked based on the prices this year. If you tend to shop regularly, you kind of have an idea of how much things normally cost. And I know for me, it was a bit of a shock. Now, I didn't buy things last year because I didn't have an outdoor space, and I just did AeroGarden herbs and vegetables. So maybe the increase had already occurred, and just because it had been like a couple years since I actually went shopping for those things, I wasn't aware that the prices had kind of crept up. But for me, it was a little bit of a sticker shock. But today I'm going to show you what I picked up. So I did get, and I guess you could say it's kind of on task of what I planned on getting. I ended up getting peppermint. So I told you guys to start off my mint garden. We're going to start with peppermint. And Bonnie Plants is typically the Lowe's brand, or the brand of plant that Lowe's typically has for the gardening plants. Usually it's Bonnie, so that's nothing new. And the containers are also a little different. I actually kind of like them. I don't know if it's a more eco-friendly, but it's really pretty. It's cute. And if you are getting this, especially like a child, I could see liking this. It makes me think back to like science class, when you be growing little beans in the napkin or something like that. It's giving those kind of vibes. But I really like this cup instead of like the black, because it has like the little holes and everything, just like the other ones, but it's clear. So I really like this. And you can see it's really healthy. You can see the roots in there. So I really like the idea of this, to be honest. This is a 19.3 ounce cup. So maybe that's why, because maybe it's a little bit bigger, but you can see it's nice and thick and healthy already. They had a good selection of peppermint. The mint that I already have is sweet mint. So this is peppermint. And I will be moving those outside as well. I'll be repotting them and then moving them outside. So in this, I'll also be repotting and moving outside probably this weekend. But I wanted to show you guys first before I did any changes to it. So here we go with the peppermint. Again, you can see it's nice and healthy and it smells divine. I actually picked these up and then went to the grocery store, and these were sitting in my car, and it had my car smelling like peppermint when I got back in the car, and I wasn't in there that long. So definitely has a great aroma, and that's why I love mint so much. I love the smell of it. So if you're looking for a way to freshen up your car, buy you a cup of mint and just sit it in there, and guaranteed air freshener, natural air freshener. But yeah, love the peppermint. And like I said, I'll be repotting this into a little bit bigger so that it can grow and get nice and fluffy and bushy. But you can see it's doing well. And the other plant that I picked up so far, and I know this is not part of the mint and basil theme that I swore to, but I did grow these the last time I had a balcony, and these produced a lot. And they were just really pretty. They almost look like something you see in a magazine or a store. If I can find my pictures of them, I'll insert it up. But my peppers, from the time I had these, they came out great, and they just kept coming. So very easy to grow plant here. And this is this again is by Bonnie Plants, and this is the sweet pepper. This is the green bell pepper. So this is not like the big the full bell pepper like you're used to. These are the smaller ones that look kind of like jalapeno peppers, but not quite. But it's a sweet pepper, and this one is green, so I figured I would go ahead and get that. So this will probably be my only oddball in terms of not having a mint or basil family member, but this one I know was an easy, simple grow that I could make work, and it produces quite a bit pretty quickly, and it's a low maintenance situation. So that's that. They had my sauce tomatoes, which I did manage to grow two I guess you could say, I had 2 sauce tomato plants the last time I had a balcony, but that was my first time dealing with tomatoes, and I didn't realize all of the maintenance they needed in terms of, like, as they start to grow up, getting the little metal thingy to help them stand and all that. But despite all of my first time trial and errors, I had quite a bit of beautiful sauce tomatoes. They actually come out kind of like a orangey. They don't get red. They're more like a nice pretty orange color. They were beautiful just to pick them. Like, I was just admiring my work and putting those with these peppers actually turn red as well. And so just putting the red in the color scheme of my garden, oh my gosh, it was so pretty. So like I said, I'll insert any pictures that I can find from that harvest from about 3 years ago, but they were just beautiful, and that was my first time doing like gardening in years, so I was really happy with the outcome. The last couple of things I picked up are houseplants, and both of these were on the clearance last chance section. Again, this is from Lowe's, and so this one actually is a pretty good deal because it came with everything that you see here, which is like, it was a hanging plant. Now, I'm not going to use this. I'm actually going to repot this and put it in a regular, I'm going to put it in one of the self-watering planters. I actually, like I said, I ordered some more, and they should be here tomorrow from Amazon. You can also check out my Amazon list that I put in the description if you want to see those self-watering pots, and I'll also insert the card up about those if you're curious. But this is a very nice, I'm going to definitely keep this thing for when I'm maybe in a different environment, but because it's really nice. But this was half off, so it had been originally, I think, about $15 or so. I'm not sure, but because you pay for this when these are in there. But this plant is actually in its own container, so I can pop it out. But it wasn't a self-watering. You can see that it doesn't even have a drainage hole. But this was not a self-watering wick and grow, because you can see there's no strings down there, so that's why it'll be easy to repot this and put it into the new self-watering planters, because those actually do come with the wicks, so I can set it up that way. So this is actually called a Camille plant. I had never heard of that before. I feel like I've seen this plant but just didn't know the name. And so it's called a Camille plant, and it looked relatively healthy. You can see there's a little bit of damage. Let me see, where's my leaf? There's like one leaf that has like a little hole in it here. But overall, you can see it's a relatively healthy plant. A little chip there, a little nick here and there. You know, looks like maybe that was probably rotten and they trimmed that out. But it has a new growth. I don't know if you can see it through the big leaves, but there's new growth coming in, and there's some more leaves. There's one here that's kind of, it's growing in. There you go. There's some there, you know, they always come in folded. So that is new leaves coming in. So there's new growth coming. And that's what I check for. Those actually can have a decent selection of last chance plants. Now, sometimes those plants are on like life support and you would really have to work with them to bring them back, you know, to good health. But like this one is overall healthy. It has a few little plants. If I really wanted to, and maybe as the plant continues to grow and develop, I may cut off these leaves that are, you know, that are damaged, but honestly, they're not that bad and they're not causing any harm to the rest of the plant. So I may just leave them there, you know, as they continue to grow. So when I see new growth coming in, then that lets me know that they're healthy and it doesn't seem to have like root rot or anything like that going on. So I went on and took a chance on this one. And again, it was half off. So any of those, they have a sign, and if they fall into a certain price range, then they tell you it's just this price. But then if they're $15 or more, then it's automatically half off. So the most you would pay is $7.50. And so this one is a medium light plant. And again, this is from that company, Exotic Angel Plants. It is a Camille. It's called the Camille plant, and it's from Brazil. And it's a medium light plant, which should be okay inside. I do like the, it looks like a pothos, but it's not. But it looks like it might be a pothos cousin. But I do like, again, the variation in the coloring. I love plants that have that. So yeah, so I picked that one up. So like I said, I'll probably be repotting that tomorrow once the new planters get here. But I will be holding on to this because this itself is a really nice pot. And this is a nice sturdy rope as well as this hook. So all of that, I'm not mad at it for $7. So I'll hold on to that for later in life. We have here, this was another plant that they have several of these, and they still have several in the store. It was originally $15.98, so this one was half off. So it was about $7.50 for this particular plant. And this is actually, this pot itself is actually one of the wick and grow situations. So you can lift this up. This is the original. You can see there's the wick. And then you can see down in there, it's a little different than the smaller ones. So it still has a little water. It's almost time for more water. I actually had these for a couple of days and I just am getting around to shooting the video, but I didn't want to repot or make any changes before I filmed. So it's time for it to get some more water. But this is actually a replacement. You guys remember I had a big evergreen, Chinese evergreen plant that had the red variation on it. And this is actually the what they call it? Aglaonemia plant, which is the red version of the Chinese evergreen. That's a simple name for it. But I had a larger one, and remember I left it behind when I moved this last time. So this one's not as large as the one that I had, but it is a decent size. And I'll see, I mean, it has some dead plants, and they're not super fast growing plants, but I do see leaves coming on, and it's a pretty low maintenance plant when it's healthy, at least. So we'll see what all this requires. And with this being in the self-watering planter, we'll see if that helps too, because I don't have to worry about watering. So I will refill the water. And I think I'm going to just leave it in this pot because it's a pretty neutral color. So yeah, I'll probably leave this one in because it is self-watering. I'm just slowly shifting to self-watering as my method of plants. One is really easy, and two, it really helps avoid fungus gnats, and it also is just really easy to keep track of in terms of watering, when it needs to water and when it doesn't. I do love the self-watering system a lot, and like I said, since this is already set up, I'm going to leave it here. These plants don't typically need a lot of repotting. Like, I mean, I think you might repot this once every so many years because it's one, like I said, a relatively slow growing plant. It's not going to you may get a lot of leaves and blooms, but it's not gonna get like so huge and have tons of roots where you need to repot it like in months or even within a year. So it's a pretty chill plant and low maintenance as well, but also really good air purifying plant as well. So not only pretty to look at, but also very beneficial. But I love that red detailing. It's gorgeous. So I will be, and actually I just noticed that you can see this leaf that's kind of folded. That's a new leaf coming in. There's one hidden under there coming in. So there's new life coming, and that's kind of, I almost left this plant, and then when I looked and I'm like, I see these new leaves coming, and there's actually a root poking out. I don't know if you can see. I'm gonna move the dead leaf, obviously. I'll trim it up, fix it up. But if you can see that kind of white in the middle right there, I tapped on that. That's actually some form of root coming. So we'll see what's going on. We'll see what comes of it. I'm gonna give it some water and then let it do its thing. So that's all I picked up from my last or most recent trip to Lowe's. I will definitely be going back once I start getting my outdoor space set up with the garden, starting off or kicking off with my mints and my pepper. And also as they get more variety in, they did have a pretty decent variety overall in terms of things to choose from. This is everything that I have in my haul. Let me know if you are using Lowe's as your main spot for your garden and houseplant needs, or maybe Home Depot or another store that's local in your area. So let me know, and let me know what else you might be planning for your spring and summer harvest. See you next time.